You will own nothing, and you better be damn happy about it when you do. Oh, we've heard it before. The World Economic Forum, groups of shadow bankers and global elites, all pushing forward the Great Reset. But how will such a scheme actually be implemented? How will they be able to control the world financially? Well, the name of the game is Central Bank Digital Currencies, or CBDCs, a crypto-like asset that's issued by central banks and whose monetary policy is controlled by the political class. We're talking absolute financial control of money here. Maybe you can just call it digital apartheid. Could CBDCs be the global elite's Trojan horse into your wallet that will end all financial freedom? Well, all of that and more in today's video. My name's Lark. I make videos talking about investing. Now, if you do like that topic, then please subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you can take a little second to tap on that thumbs up button, well, every thumbs up will count as a big FU to global elites. So smash it good, guys. Okay, now let's get into this. Now, first off, why are we talking about CBDCs anyway? Well, you see, this thing called Bitcoin happened, and it unleashed Pandora's box, financially speaking. For the first time in history, we have global censorship-resistant money run by mathematics and not controlled by corrupt men in suits. People are starting to opt out of the banking system, and they're a bit worried. Particularly in the West, we see people opting into Bitcoin and out of the fiat system. In the developing world, people are finally able to have real financial freedom after decades of abuse and exclusion and capital controls by global banks and global institutions. And it's driving the central bankers and the international financial elites fricking bonkers. Man, you gotta remember that old saying, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, well, then you win, right? Well, we did the whole ignore you stage back in the early days of Bitcoin. They realized that Bitcoin actually cannot be ignored and they better start damn well paying attention to it. Then they laughed. They called Bitcoin worthless, a new tulip bubble, digital beanie babies, all that stuff, right? But Bitcoin stayed. Bitcoin kept making blocks. Now, something I have heard more and more and more about Bitcoin and stablecoins in particular, they have a real hard-on for stablecoins right now, is that they could pose a threat to, well, everything. It poses a threat to financial stability, to global stability, to food safety, to the environment. Everything's threatened by Bitcoin. Pretty powerful beanie babies if you ask me, man. Holy cow. Now, we have reached the fight you stage with sweeping global regulations being passed for cryptocurrencies, most major regulators dealing with cryptocurrencies, and most worryingly for anybody who cares about freedom, privacy, security of your finances, it now seems that most global governments are working on a central bank digital currency, which, if implemented, as I fear it could be, is something that even fricking Orwell wouldn't have cooked up in his wildest of nightmares. Now, before I get into talking about why CBDCs are such a nightmarish technology, I just want to break the flow real quick, let you know about Wealth Mastery. This is my weekly investor report that I send out twice to your inbox every single week. We talk about NFTs, we talk about altcoins, we have DeFi and tips and tricks and everything that you need to know as a crypto investor to keep up to date with this fast-moving market and to find opportunities. Our subscribers love it. I know you will too. You can sign up for free using the link down below in the description. So why do CBDCs suck so much? Well, they have all the opaqueness and unaccountability of the existing fiat system. Look, banks, at the end of the day, they're a business, and they're in the business of printing money and controlling the supply of money. So CBDCs are really not that different from the current system in that regard. They're just like our current fiat system, which is backed by nothing but a trust me, bro, from the governments, which not really good enough for me, don't know about you. And of course, the supply can be expanded at any time by unelected officials and will almost certainly be run on private ledgers far away from public eyes. We never really know what's going on or how much of it is out there. You won't see them launch a CBDC on Ethereum now, will you? Basically, a CBDC is as anti-crypto as you can be. If it was just that, it'd be bad, but it actually gets much worse. You see, slowly but surely, your access to finance is being reduced. Cash, as an example, has been a war on cash for a long time. Many countries have actually implemented fines for using too much cash. You're a criminal if you're buying stuff with cash. Now, how much is too much? Well, for example, in Spain, apparently 1,000 euros. So if you buy a used car or maybe a designer coat, both things that could cost 1,000 euros, well, in that country, you are committing a financial crime and you are a criminal. This is where CBDCs come in, because they take all the problems of fiat currencies and add on top of it techno-fascism. Imagine a cashless society, which is 100% what we're moving towards, and only being allowed to use CBDCs, but there are limits. Did you say or do something that your government doesn't like? Guess what? Your money is going to be frozen. Does that sound crazy? It's already happening. It's been happening for a long time with people who say the wrong things and their PayPal accounts are shut off. Or Canada, they just did it to protesters via the banking system. Your accounts are frozen. CBDCs will make this kind of tyranny so much easier to commit. Wrong think will result in financial exclusion. It's a very slippery slope. But maybe you're not planning on doing any wrong think. Good for you. You just want to spend your money and do normal stuff like buy a car. Well, maybe CBDCs, they restrict your ability to buy things over a certain amount. Remember, we already have restrictions on cash. So without going and asking daddy for permission, you're not going to be allowed to spend more than $2,000 a month or something like that. What about buying a bottle of vodka? You know, maybe you've just had too much to drink this month. You can't buy any more vodka this month. In fact, maybe you've been drinking too much overall so that, you know, we saw you were applying for an apartment recently. You wanted to rent that, but guess what? You've had too much to drink. You're not a socially acceptable person enough anymore. We're going to cancel that for you. Your money score is not high enough anymore. Does that sound crazy? Totally, you know, fascist, totalitarian, nut stuff? Well, China is doing exactly that right now. Just add CBDCs on top and it's perfect combination. This year at the World Economic Forum, they talked about new apps that will track your carbon score. You want to go on vacation to Hawaii? Sorry about that, buddy. Your carbon score is too high. You're simply not going to be allowed to buy those tickets using your CBDCs, which are the only form of currency at this point, unless maybe, you know, you walk to work for a year or something like that. Of course, none of that stuff that I've just talked about is going to apply to global elites, just like how they tell you you've got to take the bus to save the planet, but then they all fly private jets to Davos to tell you how to live your life. I mean, come on, guys, at least jet pool, man. Anyway, you might think that all sounds a bit too, tinfoil hat, but just ask yourself this. Looking back over the past couple of decades, everything they've done, do you really trust your governments? Do you really trust your central banks to not do this when they get the power to do it? When they get everybody on board with this new system of money, they're going to have these levers of control, and you bet your bottom dollar they're going to fricking use them. You see, you need to start thinking like a banker. How do we get this implemented? Well, maybe a nice recession. That could be a nice little time to slip in some CBDCs, make them desperate for central bank help. We need bailout money, quick. Maybe we could have some kind of new Bretton Woods moment where we rethink the global financial system. Maybe some kind of like a system reset. Maybe we could even call it the Great Reset. Yeah, that's a good name. We should probably use that. The idea for absolute control of money has been talked about by the banking class for a long time. This technological solution is going to give them the power to do that. The Bank of International Settlements, the central bank of central banks, has been talking about that exact topic for a while now. A marketing strategy was, then kind of cooked up by the global elites to convince the public that by owning nothing, well, somehow we're going to be very, very happy. Leave everything to Big Brother, right? Don't worry about a thing. You don't need to own a car. Just use your CBDCs to pay for a rideshare, assuming you've been a good boy or good girl. You don't need to own your home. Just use your CBDCs to pay BlackRock. They own everything now anyway. You don't need to own a private jet. Whoops. You don't need to own a private jet. No, that's for us. That's not for you. The caveat to this newfound happiness, of course, just a complete loss of your financial freedom, your financial privacy, and your financial security, because you cannot be financially secure in such a system where your money can be frozen any time by the freaking central banks. Every movement tracked. This will be the end of financial privacy. Imagine a centralized ledger being shared by all the big banks with everyone's name, everyone's spending history, location of where you bought what you bought, and other private information that you may not want people to know. The medicine you're buying, the illicit things you're buying. Just wait until someone hacks that shit, because you know that database is gonna get hacked multiple times. We know how good they are at security. They've proven it over the decades of multiple giant hacks. Look, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm too tinfoil hat with this. CBDCs are gonna be super amazing and, break out a new era of prosperity, and nothing nefarious is going on at all from these groups who have been so nefarious in the past. But the question is, how much do you really trust the bankers and organizations like the World Economic Forum, the IMF, the World Bank? Do you think they're your friends? You can let me know your opinion down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.